Hey, good night or welcome, internets. It's a Friday night at 9:36 Central Daylight Time here in the US of A, UTC -6, if I've got that right. And I'm doing another Bookward Bound episode because, frankly, I made the commitment to you to do so. So what is Bookward Bound? Well, it's actually me doing a live stream episode of me working forward on the book that I'm trying to complete by... No, I'm not trying to complete. I'm going to complete by January 1st, 2021. And I'm doing it via live stream because, frankly, if it were just up to me, I'd probably be a little bit, I'm not feeling it tonight, so I'm not going to work on it. But because I made the commitment to you, here I am, and I am going to work on it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to open up Scrivener, which is the application I'm using to write the book, and I'm going to do something regarding the book right now. And so there you see in front of you is Scrivener, which is the application I'm using. It's a piece of software that I believe there are versions for macOS, which I use, Windows, and I think there might be a Linux version, but I'm not sure. But it doesn't really matter because I'm using macOS because it is the better operating system out there, and I like it a whole lot better than any other, so I'm going to be using the macOS version to write this book. Now, what is this book? Well, that's funny you ask. This is what it's called. Nonfiction Brand. Let me say that again. Nonfiction Brand. Discovering, crafting, and communicating the completely true, completely you brand you already are. And that's what it's about. It's about personal branding and small business branding, which, if you ask me, are the same exact thing. And it's about getting yourself out there in a way that is completely authentic to who you are without using that damn word authentic or authenticity. That's a word that's been abused and overused of late, and I hate it. But I love the idea about it, which is the fact that there are true, completely true brands and completely veneer brands. But this is not about fictitious, faux, quasi-branding. This is about true nonfiction branding, hence the name of the book, Nonfiction Brand. And this is what the book looks like currently within Scrivener. You can see over here in this column a whole bunch of various sections with various flags here. Now, my flag code is not very sophisticated, but it's pretty effective because red means, dude, you haven't written anything in this section. Yellow means, hey, dude, you've written some things, but maybe the section isn't done yet. I mean, in this case, it ends with a very cryptic entry of Davey 504 interview. What does that mean? Nothing to you, perhaps, if you're not a bass player, but it means to me that I'm going to try to contact a YouTuber named Davey 504, who I've been following of late, who is doing incredible stuff, focusing strictly on playing electric bass on YouTube. Does that sound like the basis for an effective personal brand? Maybe not, but let me tell you, that dude is killing it when it comes to creating that personal brand on YouTube in a very narrow niche, which is electric bass. So I want to see if I can get him on my podcast, and then, if that works out, take some of that podcast meat and turn it into a section of the book. And also, the other flag here is the blue flag, which is I've written quite a bit in this section, and I think it's done, but I haven't done final editing of it or vetting of it to make sure it is in fact done or in the right place within the book or not lacking anything that I meant to say. So 3 color codes there, or actually 4, because the last one, which you will not see in this list, again, you won't see it anywhere. You've got red flags, plenty of red flags, a couple of yellow flags, and then a couple of blue flags, but you don't see any green flags. A green flag would be my signal to myself to say, hey, this section's done. It's been edited. It's been vetted. It's been spell checked. It's been finished, sanded to a fine sheen. It's been absolutely finished to the level I want it to be finished for a section within my book. So consequently, I look at this and say, dude, you got a lot of ideas here, but you haven't finished a whole lot of them. Yeah, well, I'm feeling bad about that. To a certain extent, this is episode 51 of BOOKWARD BOUND out of 301 consecutive episodes that are planned. That means I have 250 yet to go. So for all the, dude, you haven't written much stuff, I've got plenty of, wow, you've got plenty of stuff here. Well, that's not the best one to show. But let's take this section, 973 words. I could probably add on to that. 907 words. I need to be better about this, don't I? Anyway, I've got 250 more episodes to work on this book, moving this book forward. So I'm going to look at this last one that I've been working on, a section called MD, CPA, PhD, EIEIO, which is all about how the acronyms that come after your name are nowhere near as important as the things that come before your name. And I can prove that. What's more impressive, CPA or president or 3-time Academy Award winner, Nobel Prize winner, Pro Football Hall of Famer? The things before your name are always more important than the things that come after your name. The things that come after your name are only qualifiers to put you in a different bucket of commodities, or a different commodity bucket, if you will. What does that mean? Read the flippin' book, and that's what I'm writing right now. So I talk about Brene Brown in here. I think I want to give her section a subhead. Something about building a brand on the power of shame. Yeah, because that's what she's done. Brene Brown, love her. Very cool. Would never, ever have expected her to become a breakout talent, but she is. And I'm writing about her here. Charming in a very human way, and is immediately likable as a Labrador Retriever. But she was talking about her deep research into vulnerability, shame, and all the stuff we never. Let's give that a little heat by making it a talent we never want to talk about. So guess what? She's now the one of one expert on such things. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's what I should do. Let's get this straight from the get. When say D U D HYDI. What I'm really, God, come on, saying is who you are. This triptych conceptual what the frick? Tick. That's not how you spell it, trip. TYC tick. Forms. What do I want to call it? Forms? The DNA. What do they call it? DNA pairs? Forms the adenine, cytosine. What are the flippin' base pairs? That's what it is, DNA base pairs. This triptych forms the DNA base pairs. Non-fiction branding. Make sure this is 16. Bold. Here's how it plays out. Robert Zimmerman. Inclined youngster from. I gotta look it up. I know it's Minnesota, but I'm not sure where. Dun-dun. Hold on. Hold on, I'm moving this over. Minnesota. Yeah, Robert. I'm going to put his full name in there. There was a youngster from Duluth. Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Well, there's some good stuff about him. NASA, Russia, sometime around 1805. The son of an electric appliance shop owner and part close of an intimate Jewish community surrounded by Nordic Europeans and a fascination for the musical styles. South. The Jewish. American South. Student at the university. Minnesota. He began to find his voice on the local folk music. Music circuit. Only really became the person he was meant to be. He changed, assumed a stage name. That included that honored favorite poet of his, Dylan Thomas. That's when the performer, poet, singer, songwriter Bob Dylan was born. I gotta find a quote. Let's find a quote. New York, Woody Guthrie was born. There's to the Bob Dylan story, and I seriously recommend that you check it all out. But for this book's purposes, let's learn this basic lesson. Who were born is not necessarily who you are, which begs the question, exactly are you? Do you know how many people walked this earth who've never, ever even considered asking that question? I'd say, comma, the vast majority. I'd say the vast majority. That's a painful reality, in my opinion. Why? Because an unexamined life is barely above that of the base of the field. Barely, but beats the field. Just getting by isn't getting by in my book. Becoming the best, and becoming the best you can be requires a deep understanding of who you actually are. this fundamental keystone brand is about the above. You are so you can be it. Know who you are. Do you know? Be to understand. Truly. Truly. And no. Well, no. Aggression really makes the point. My school friend, mine's father was a high test attorney. Major Midwestern American city for decades. An equity partner at one of the city's top firms. He toiled for years making the bank he needed, raising saying a family bank he needed to eventually retire a bit early, and then he began to live for the final act of his life. He really lived. He really lived. What I would argue was his best life. How? By playing clarinet in a touring Dixie Land band. Now, am not qualified and have never even attempted to psychoanalyze the guy, but I know this for rock solid certain. He was a musician his entire life. He's the attorney thing was what he had to do to fulfill whatever expectations his society at large and his family in particular and in mind. But damn it, he was a musician at heart and soul. Who's the god of music? God of music, Greek god. Who's the Greek? Apollo. Thank Apollo. Music. He was able to spend the last act of his life living fully. Not many get to do that, but he did. I contend, mentioned above, that he was a musician long before law school. But life has a painful way of intervening. No, that's not intervene. Vening. I think he was unhappy family. No, but do think he was more completely fulfilled. Playing. Okay, playing. Let's see if I can find him. Dixieland. Make it regular. Make it rhythm aces. Oh, there we go. The rhythm aces. Oh my God. I'm sure that's who it is. Yep. There we go. The rhythm aces. Playing. It's amazing what you can find online. I wonder if they have any videos or anything. Come on, baby. Don't let me down. You mean? American? No, it's the rhythm aces. That's not them. I don't think. No, they're Dixieland. Yeah, that'd be him. Yeah, he passed away by that time. No, it's not them. Flying. I wonder what they played. There we go. David in 2017. Grant County, yep. Legal work. Quarles and Brady, yeah. Graduate of the year. Rhythm aces. Playing Sweet Georgia Brown. That's a good one. I'm sure he played that. See, this is what happens. I didn't even know I was going to tell this story in this book, but I started writing what I started writing, and all of a sudden this story came out of my head that I've known forever, and I've actually talked about before, which is why coming down here and actually writing is the key. I mean, but do I think he was more complete with the and around Madison, Wisconsin, USA? Hell yeah. Yeah. My point is this guy were he 100% true to who he actually was, is, improvisation, creativity, and team collaboration. That would be certainly true of his days with the band, but I'm guessing it was equally true of his days at the law firm. So if I had to sum him up, 3 conceptual words or phrases, I'd say improvisation, create, and I'm going to take the word team out of there. And deep. Not team, but deep. I'm digging that. So there we go. I started this, so how many words? 624. One of the things I like about Scrivener is that it can do a running tally down here. 624 words of 327. Well, that one doesn't count. But 624 words, I'm sorry. I'm feeling good about that tonight, so I'm going to stop. Been out here for 43 minutes and change, working on this section, so that's cool. I moved my book forward. Not a tremendous amount, but I've got 250 more of these live streams to do it in, so I'm doing it. And I'm not going to beat myself up if I only wrote down 6 words tonight. Would I be happy with that? Well, I wouldn't be thrilled, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it because writing is not about forcing it. It's about understanding it, thinking about it, cogitating, forming the idea, and then transferring it down your entire body into your fingers and onto the keyboard or into the pen or pencil. It's pretty difficult. Don't force it. There's no reason to force it if you do something like what I'm doing right now, which is actually forcing myself to come down here on a Friday night when I don't feel like writing anything more at the end of the day. But because I made this commitment to you and to myself, I'm actually doing that. So the only thing I'm forcing is I'm forcing my butt into this chair in front of this keyboard. And then I'm starting to type. And out of that typing comes an idea. And out of that idea comes excitement. And out of that excitement comes da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then you look up 45 minutes later and you've got 600 plus words that have significantly moved your book forward. That's what I've just done, thanks to you. And also to the commitment I made to myself to do this. So I'm pretty happy with that. You know, I have to admit, I wasn't looking forward to coming down here and writing. You know, Friday evenings are kind of my thing for, I'm so tired, don't even talk to me. But instead I came down here, I started typing, and then I started writing. And that's the difference. Sometimes you just have to type to be able to write. because I swear there's something about putting your fingers on that home row of keys, that ASDF, HJK, or JKL semicolon. I hate the fact that that pinky is semicolon, but it is. If you're a touch typist, which I am. I'm a touch typist who can't type. Go figure, after 27, 28 years as a professional writer, I still can't type worth crap. Well, that's because my brain's doing something else while my fingers are trying to type. Am I going to beat myself up about that? Not anymore. I used to beat myself up about it, but I'm not anymore because I'm too flippin' old. Take a look at the gray hair on my chin. I'm too old for that. So I'm not, homie doesn't play that anymore. I'm just not going to do that anymore. But instead, I'm going to come down here and work on my book and move it forward some little bit. And this is episode 51 consecutive live streams working my book forward. I count that as a huge win. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast, which comes out every Monday. So check out this week's episode with Egan Heath, a direct response expert. And we have a little bit of back and forth because I'm a brand guy. He's a direct response guy. And so what happens? We end up meeting in the middle in a very friendly way. Also, next Monday, the second half of that conversation is coming out. So check that out. You can get the Nonfiction Brand podcast wherever you get your podcasts or wherever fine podcasts are free. Also, I'd like to invite you to join Nonfiction Brandversity, my free Facebook group. Just search Nonfiction Brandversity on Facebook, ask to join, answer 3 questions to prove you're not a malevolent bot overlord, and you are in. And I can't wait to see you on campus there. And until then, I'm going to say, hey, theme music, take us on out. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.